Um, Sustainable development should require that we follow the mitigation hierarchy. That starts with avoidance, avoiding important and sensitive areas, avoiding impacts on species that are sensitive to changes of land use. Mitigation only comes second, and compensation of unavoidable impacts is a last resort. Unfortunately, in spite of Sunnica's extensive wildlife surveys, they haven't taken that information or taken the local knowledge that many of you out there will have and actually applied it to the design of their scheme. They simply put 2,700 acres or whatever it is of solar panels where they want to put them and then figured out what's left behind for wildlife. That will clearly have an impact on a wide range of species, flora, farmland birds, and rare species as well. Also, I would say that actually there's not a lot of detailed information on the impacts of large-scale industrial solar farms on wildlife. And actually a lot of what Sunnica says can't be backed up by evidence one way or the other. Some things are, however, clear. You're very lucky in this part of West Suffolk and East Cambridgeshire to actually be on the edge of the Brecks, which is one of the UK strongholds for an internationally important bird, the stone curlew. It sort of typically occurs on sort of a mixture of farmland and the typical Breckland heath and acid grasslands. And within the Sunnica area, there are 5 pairs recorded breeding, and each pair requires a considerable area of habitat, not just for its breeding area, but to feed. And there will undoubtedly be a loss of those species as a result of the construction of a industrial solar farm on this scale. Sunnica may claim that they can create alternative habitats for the stone curlews, but unless they're in place beforehand and well beforehand, before any cable is put in the ground or before any construction digger starts work, it's pointless. There are a wide range of other species present that will also be impacted, though it's hard to categorise exactly how many. There's going to be loss of priority grassland habitats that should technically be protected through planning. There's a wide range of rare arable flora out in the fields, sort of as a result of the farming practices undertaken by the local landowners. Many of those are going to be lost and won't be compatible with a solar farm. Overall, the approach to the ecological and environmental impact assessment has simply failed to follow best practice, and throughout it understates the impacts on wildlife of this scheme. The habitat creation proposals may sound quite generous to compare with some developments, but actually they're not when you look at the overall scale of it. They're piecemeal, they're pretty vague, they won't be in place before the development starts. Where's the wildlife going to go in the meantime? Finally, looking at some of the compensatory habitats, there's absolutely no guarantee that these will be well managed through a solar company. Simply put, I don't know where to start really. It should be a sustainable renewable energy scheme. It's the worst I've seen in many years. Much of the wildlife that you know and you're going to miss, unfortunately, is not going to be considered when the planning inspectors and the ministers look at this as a nationally significant infrastructure scheme. But one final personal thought, wouldn't it be better if the number of solar panels that were proposed for this Sunnica site were actually put on 100,000 homes or buildings instead? That seems to me a far more sustainable use of the resources and a much better way of doing solar